Thank you very much for joining us tonight, and we're practicing the safe distancing rules with the COVID virus. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do at the Bay County Sheriff's Office, Corporal Rozier, and what your role is, in particularly in regards to scams and keeping consumers and citizens safe?
Well, I'm an investigator in the criminal investigation section, and I run our financial crimes section. My role is scams basically as running the financial crime section. I'm an active participant in that. I screen all of them. We work the cases. We attempt an arrest if we can identify a suspect, and then we work it from there.
All right. How long have you been with the Bay County Sheriff's Office?
I've been at the Bay County Sheriff's Office for 8 years, and I was at another agency before that for approximately 7. So I'm a 15%.
Okay. Are you seeing anything out there in particular that is coming across your desk? I mean, a couple of months ago, it was the robocalls kind of telling everybody to report and send money on the IRS scams. What are you seeing right now, though, Corporal?
Well, there's a number of scams going around. They have variations. There's 5 or 6 common ones that we see, and it seems like they run through them and then cycle back over at the start. All of them result in them wanting you to buy some type of a gift card or a credit card or, prepaid Visa or Green Dot or something along those lines, and scratching the number off the back and giving them the number. Once you do that, the money's gone. You're not going to see it. The most recent one that we've... Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to ask you, what's the setup for that? How does somebody approach somebody, a citizen, to say, how do they get in contact with them to start with? How does that process start?
Well, the most recent one we've been seeing, as far as how to get your number, there's plenty of databases out there that even private citizens can access and get people's phone numbers. These guys just call it at random. They just have listed numbers. But the one that's been circulating here lately is a variation where some federal or local law enforcement official contacts you and says that there's been a vehicle found, near the Mexican border or some location, and that they found drugs or stolen credit cards or, your information in the car along with it. And then they implicate you and say that they have a warrant for your arrest, and then they offer you the option of purging that warrant by purchasing some gift cards and giving them the number off the back of the gift card.
Well, I'll tell you what, wouldn't that be so easy? I know a lot of real criminals would really like to do that, but what do you mean by purging the arrest warrant? Does that ever happen?
No, and that's what I was going to tell you. Law enforcement is never going to call you on the phone and tell you, hey, I have a warrant for your arrest, and they're certainly not going to give you the option of being able to get rid of that warrant over the phone by buying gift cards and paying them. We just don't do that. I mean, anyone that's ever been at the Bay County Jail that's bonded somebody out, it's not super easy, and they have tight control over the money. They're not going to do it by telephone. They're certainly not going to do it by gift cards. So I would tell anyone listening that regardless of the scam, regardless of what they say, regardless of what fear they try to instill in you, the second they start talking about gift cards, this is not legitimate. Just hang the phone up. Don't even entertain them.
All right. Well, what are some of the other things that we can do as citizens to kind of protect ourselves? What are things still going around on the internet, emails or text messages? The Nigerian prince is still waiting on my information, and I'm going to get rich. I'm going to have $30 million. But anything like that, any particular scams like that going around in our area?
Yeah, I've won the lottery about 15 times already. There's lots of those. People have seen those on the email. Email's not so prevalent anymore. There's still a few of them running around, but most people have caught on to those, that you've won the lottery emails. No one believes that anymore. The Nigerian prince, like you brought up, no one believes that anymore. But the romance scams are still pretty popular. They take advantage of elderly, maybe a widow or widower. They prey upon their loneliness and, convince them that they're in love with them or whatever. And then they convince them to give them money for whatever reason, whether it be they're trying to flee the country to come to the States to be with this person, or there's a bunch of different variations of that. But as I said, the bottom line is don't buy gift cards. And if you feel like something might not be legitimate, just tell them to call you back in a day or two, that you're busy, that you've got a doctor's appointment or whatever, and then contact us and run it by me, and I'll be happy to tell you if this is legitimate or not.
Corporal Rozier, do you have a number since you've made that offer? Is there a particular number that somebody should call for a non-emergency purpose to the Bay County Sheriff's Office?
I can give you the general number, and then you can ask for me directly, and I'll patch you to my desk phone. It's 747-4700, and that's 24 hours a day. You can get to dispatch if you need to, and they can patch you over to my desk phone and leave me a message, and then I'll get back to you.
All right.
And then, like I said, I can run it for you and see if this is legit. Most likely it's not going to be.
Yes, sir. Now, a couple of years ago, or actually currently kind of going on right now since Hurricane Michael, we've kind of had an inundation of contractor complaints. What are some of the variations of the contractor complaints that you've seen where you're able to prosecute them on a criminal level versus on a civil level?
Yeah, we had 4 different phases actually that came after the hurricane. The first phase was the AOB guys that came through here and got people to sign the assignment of benefits. We're pretty much through that. We're through the second phase, which was a lot of the unlicensed contractors that came in from other states. Some other states don't require licenses, and so we had a lot of people flow in here from other states that maybe weren't even aware they had to have a license here, but regardless, they came in unlicensed and did the work. The third phase, we're already through that. That was illegal trash dumping. That didn't have a lot to do with the contractors. And right now, what's going on at this point in time is we have a lot of contractors that back in that first phase, when these guys got people to sign assignment of benefit, they really over-contracted and got too many jobs for a lot of the contractors. And we've got citizens that have been sitting 12, 14, 18 months and still don't have their homes built. And there's a lot of complexities to that. Some of it's legitimate. Some of it there's nothing we can do about. But in some cases, there actually are some legal remedies that we can take criminally to resolve this. I think the latest numbers was the state attorney's office had about 196 or 198 pending cases against contractors, and we've got about 63 outstanding warrants.
So is the 63 warrants included in the 196 number?
No, that's an addition.
So we've got about 250 contractors that are roughly that have been in this under investigation, so much so that there's probable cause to indict them criminally?
That's the ones that are still outstanding. There's ones that are already resolved, and we have over $600,000 in restitution already been awarded on the ones that have already been resolved.
Okay. Now, Corporal Rozier, are you helping folks with the contractors making the claim with the Hurricane Michael Contractor Fund, or is that something that they need to do separately, and how does that work?
That's through the Department of Business and Professional Regulation. Whether they file a criminal complaint with us or not, they can still file a complaint with the Department of Business and Professional Regulation. And you can go online and Google just that, Department of Business and Professional Regulation. You can get to their website and you can file a complaint through them. Once you get a complaint filed through them, if your contractor was licensed, the state has a contractor recovery fund that every contractor pays into. It's kind of like malpractice insurance for doctors. They pay into that so that if a citizen gets victimized by a legitimate contractor, they can make a claim against that fund and maybe get a portion of their money back. They probably won't get everything back, but they'll get some back. So.
And currently the caps on that, as I understand, is about $50,000?
I don't know the cap. They would have to talk to the Department of Business and Professional Regulation on that. I help them get set up with that, but I don't administer that, and I don't work those claims, so I don't know what the cap would be.
All right. One final thing I want to talk about here tonight, and I appreciate you we're practicing the safe distancing, and I appreciate you calling in tonight to really help our viewers and our citizenry throughout the region. One final thing I want to talk about is price gouging, though. I know that Attorney General Moody has made this a top priority to stop the price gouging, especially during the viral virus outbreak. What's the Bay County Sheriff's Office doing about that right now?
Well, price gouging is for essentials, from what I understand. Pretty much the Jimmy Petronis' office, our chief financial officer, they're working more of the price gouging issues than we are. We're not doing criminal complaints that I know of right now on price gouging. I'm not saying that we can't, but we don't have any outstanding right now. So I think most of those are going through them, through the chief financial officer's office, their insurance fraud.
Okay, so if somebody's price gouging in whatever area it may be, should they contact the sheriff's office first? Should they contact Mr. Petronis' office first, or Ashley Moody's office first? What's the recommendation for you?
I would probably go through Ashley Moody's office first. If they refer them down to a local level, then they can contact us. But they have, I believe they have a hotline set up. I don't know the number off the top of my head for that, but I believe there's a price gouging hotline that's set up so people can call and report that.
All right. Well, maybe our producers can get that for us at the end of it. Corporal Rozier, is there anything else you'd like to tell our folks tonight that are listening in, watching the show tonight?
I would. You mentioned coronavirus. Just as recently as today, there is a flyer or a email or Facebook ad circulating around saying that there's a company that's going to be conducting some coronavirus tests in a local parking lot here for $200 a piece, and that you can drive through and not even exit your car. We don't know yet that that's not legitimate, But I will say that under the president's direction, when he was coordinating with pharmaceutical agencies and hospitals, these are supposed to be at no cost to the citizen. So I would be very cautious about paying somebody to get a coronavirus test. The Bay County Health Department has actually responded to that ad and said that nobody has contacted them and asked for permission to conduct tests here locally. So again, I would just say proceed with caution. I don't want to accuse this company of committing fraud because we don't know at this point, but it is suspect and we are looking into it.
Okay. Corporal Rozier, the producer has told me that that event has actually been canceled, but it is a good opportunity to remind everybody if something sounds too good to be true, it probably is, because the coronavirus testing has not been fully released yet. It's all going to go through government agencies right now. There are private laboratories who are working on it. To our knowledge, it has not been released yet, but it could be coming in the coming days. Corporal Rozier, anything else as we conclude this?
No, I just wanted to caution people about that. Use common sense, and like I said, if you don't remember anything else you heard from me tonight, do not purchase gift cards for anybody over the phone. That is a scam 100% of the time.
Okay. Investigator Rozier, thank you so much for your time tonight.